Now, today, right off the bat, I want to start talking about something that it's not too big, but it caught my attention a little bit, which is the fact that Nexon announces investment in Konami, Sega, Bandai Namco, and Hasbro. I mean, they have been investing in other games before and other publishers, but it's interesting that now they are refocusing on investing a little bit more, which is uncommon, I would say, because well, we are post pandemic. It's 2021, and people are actually taking care of not investing their money where they won't have any additional benefits. Anyway, Nexon recently revealed that they're about to invest about 174 million dollars on a couple of publishers, and I don't know if you ever played any Nexon game. I know they sound kind of obscure, but in the gaming industry, I would say that they are big. They have been doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games that tend to be free games. They tend to be free games, cash games. A lot of those games actually have a cash shop or a pay to win feeling where you have to actually, put actual money into the game to get at least the extra benefits. Now, every single game now is actually adding all that gacha flow or, having in real life money into the game itself. So now it's getting more and more common to see those kind of stuff. But I just want to point out that they have been doing a lot of IPs. They have been creating a lot of games, and currently, they have already created games like Vindictus. They have done Maple Story. They have done Dungeon Fighter Online. So they have a history on creating different type of games that at least people invest a lot. Like people still play Maple Story. So this is not the very first time that they do any kind of investment into any additional studio. As a matter of fact, they invested back on EA Dice back in the day, which was great. I don't remember which game actually came out of that, but the fact that they are, revisiting the whole idea of actually investing money into these studios, that means that somewhere there's going to be a crossover of IPs. Now, recently they have been working on something known as Kart Rider Drift, which is going to be coming to PC, Xbox, and obviously it will have crossplay because at the end of the day, these games are supposed to be kind of a AAA games, but lightweight. So next down to the topic is YouTube. YouTube Shorts, they got an app now. Now, I know you have been working on the YouTube Shorts, and people have been doing a lot of strategies around that. I know, you add the hashtag shorts on either on the title or the description. I've heard that is actually not necessary. That is not mandatory. Yeah, I've heard that is actually not mandatory. So you don't really need to, put in hashtag shorts or hashtag shorts on the description or the title. But just the fact that you have your video in a vertical setup, it's more than enough. Now, the thing is that now we have a real app that is specified for YouTube Shorts. Similarly, remember back in the day when Instagram had their they had like a different app for IGTV, I think it was. YouTube is doing something similar. So now from your phone, at least in the US, from your phone, you should be able to use the YouTube Shorts app to upload your content, and you can go ahead and record the same thing similar to the IGTV, where you would just press the button, hold it down, and do a little recording. As you can see here, if you go to the YouTube channel, the Creator Insider channel, you can actually see that content there. Hey, what's up, DK? Obviously, we're not going to watch the entire video. You can go ahead and check it out. As you know, I'll be adding all the different topics that we've been talking today in the description below. You can check them out afterwards. And also, I would add the links there so you can visit those contents. Now, it's interesting because YouTube doesn't want to stay back. You know what I mean? Because there is already TikTok. There is Instagram with their Reels. Twitter, it still has his Periscope. And I believe YouTube was the only one that was, being left back. And I'm not mentioning Facebook because obviously we all know that Facebook owns Instagram. So YouTube decided to hop into that bandwagon and have some kind of short content production um, for their viewers. In this case, it's shorts. So it's supposed to be limited to only 60 seconds. I don't think it makes sense to make it any longer than that. That's the whole entire purpose of actually going through using shorts. Now, it's interesting because lately it has creative, I guess, massive awareness that people actually consume short content or short videos. And the way people are creating content in YouTube has changed a lot. Like a lot of people usually would create in either TikTok or Instagram or in their reels, and they have had great response from their viewers. So I guess, and I don't have all the details on this, but I guess that YouTube wanted to get part of that pie and have those creators that already generate a big traffic into TikTok and Instagram, getting them into YouTube because the I guess the consumer form, yeah, I guess the consumer form that you have in YouTube is different from what you would usually see on either TikTok or Instagram. As you know, remember that what was the other do it for the Vine? Yeah. So the Vine, remember uh Vine would have content, either vertical or horizontal, it really didn't matter, landscape mode. But the fact that in YouTube people would actually sit down and watch compilations of Vine lets me know that people is interested in watching that kind of content, even if it's going to be on YouTube. So hey, YouTube Shorts kind of makes sense. Now going down the line, we have had a lot of changes happening, at least in the gaming industry, but specifically on the Nintendo industry. I am not a big fan of Fortnite, but it's good to know or to address that Epic Gaming has been doing a little bit of extra work on their Fortnite game, especially for the Nintendo Switch. So Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch will look even better and will run smoother. I have played Fortnite myself on Switch a couple of times. Again, it is not my cup of tea, but the fact that Epic is still, putting additional effort into this renowned game, even in Switch, that sounds pretty good. Now, obviously, the game is still not running on 60 frames. Meh, it's the Nintendo Switch. I don't think much stuff run on 60 frames on the Switch. Anyways, they have changed the resolution. They are making sure that at least in the handheld mode as well as in the dock mode, you can enjoy Fortnite much better. Makes it easier to play Fortnite on Switch, and at least you don't feel that you are either delayed or that the game is horrendously laggy. Like I have had my couple of wins in Fortnite. Wins, maybe two or three. But here in the Verge, and you can check the links in the description below, you will be able to see how they're showing the difference. Right? I remember that back when I was playing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, things would look kind of blurry. Like the polygons weren't really set up properly, or at least they try not to have many details because that would, I won't say kill the Switch, but it would have been a lot of struggle for it to keep up. At the end of the day, remember that the Nintendo Switch is actually just a GPU with some Bluetooth controllers. I don't know if you know, but at the end, in the back end of that, the whole thing is actually a Tegra, and the Tegra was supposed to be like a handheld or a handheld mobile GPU or graphic card. So they just pretty much put everything together and made it a console out of it. Anywho's, so again, they have actually reduced also the size of the game itself. You will be able to save more space, and I know the game actually uses just a couple of gigs. At least you're gonna get back around 140 megs, so you should be good. But I don't think anybody actually plays the Nintendo Switch without having a micro SD card in their console anymore. I think maybe. By the way, after this stream here on YouTube, we are going to go ahead and hop over into twitch.tv twitch.tv/Eddy04tv. And most likely tonight, I think I'm gonna do some hunt runs in Monster Hunter. I am actually trying to get more recurrent streaming on Twitch, trying to get back into the pace of actually streaming 3 or 4 times in a week. Life is life. It's not that easy, but you know, you know how that goes. Going down to the topic lane, the next thing we want to talk about is actually Mario. Super Mario. Is Mario dead now? What did Nintendo do to kill it? Now, I mean, today is already April what? 9? And this happened back in March 31st. Right. So in March 31, we lost a couple of Mario games, at least from the eShop. You can still get those games probably if you physically go to a spot or a place and try to get those. But unfortunately, you won't be able to buy it digital anymore after a couple of days. Now, back in March 31, Nintendo decided that was going to be the last day that you were not going to be able to get any more access to Mario games. At least, not all of them, but certain specific games, especially Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, as well as Mario Galaxy. And all of those games, those 3 games are part of a bundle which is known as the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. You know, March has become Mario's month, and they usually celebrate. And the last couple of days, they were celebrating the 35th year of Super Mario, or Mario himself. You know, he started his history as Jumpman back in Donkey Kong games, and now he has been building up his popularity to the point where Mario has, become the symbol of Nintendo, pretty much. So, yes, we are not having Super Mario 3D All-Star in the eShop anymore, and you can actually get those games still in Amazon. If there's any kind of digital copy still there left, you can go ahead and cap one of those. You can get, you can redeem the code and then just put it into your Nintendo Switch, and you can play those games. But Nintendo won't be selling those anymore, and I think they just want to create that, digital decay. I think where it would create this kind of limited concept of these products. Because also there was another game that we had released for March, which is Super Mario 35. Super Mario 35, well, it was supposed to be because of the 35th anniversary, but Super Mario 35 had that flow as, Tetris 99, which is supposed to be like some kind of battle royale, but you will still be playing Mario games or the Mario usual adventure game, but you could kill off other competitors by sending them some kind of debuffs to their game. And whoever ends up being the last man standing or the last player standing would win that particular campaign. So that was Super Mario 35. That, as well as Super Mario All-Stars, is not available anymore. You could probably go back to the stores and get those. Or you could check the links in the description below. I do have the Amazon link there. You could try and get the digital copy or the physical one as well before there is no more. Something else that disappeared because of the death of Mario is the fact that, I don't know if you have ever seen that Super Mario game, I think it was Game & Watch edition console, where you could actually play Super Mario games there. Well, that won't be sold anymore either. And just to make it a limited edition. So people thought it was like an April Fool's thing. That, it was a kind of a prank where people won't be able to play anymore those games, and it was just Nintendo trying to get into the culture. But no, it's real. Right now, if you go to the eShop, you won't be able to play either Super Mario 35 or purchase Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That's really unfortunate. Nintendo be shipping old games in the bundle with a AAA price tag. I know the feeling, but think about this, right? So right now, well, in March, Mario was 35 years of existence. This month, Link and the whole Legend of Zelda lore is celebrating their anniversary. So does that mean that we'll also have some kind of games from them? Maybe that is the main reason why we started getting Skyward World um, from the Legend of Zelda story, and getting it, rebranded as remaster and just putting you the AAA price tag. I mean, a lot of companies are now revisiting or reshipping or refurbishing or remastering their content and just selling it again for the total price, which I don't know if I should call it outrageous, but the whole fact that people are still buying it, that means that their content was good and people just want to revisit or relive those stories. I mean, think about this. Before, back in the day, the consoles, well, a lot of them were backward compatible, right? You could have a PlayStation 1 and you could get into a PlayStation 2 and you could still play the games, kind of. And then PlayStation 3 came up, and the first edition of the PlayStation 3, you could still play PlayStation 2 games. But after a while, that became history, right? Or you can remember, I don't know, but you had the Nintendo GameCube, and when you got over into the Nintendo Wii, you could still use your GameCube CDs in your Wii, as well as your GameCube controllers. I mean, backward compatibility was always there, but the fact that we have been shifting the industry and how we play our games and how we revisit our content, I think it makes sense to re-release some titles. The thing, though, is that, as you said, they have a AAA price tag. You feel like people are buying it because they did not play the original or do not have access to them. Uh Makes sense. Total sense. The things that this will happen when scarcity starts racing up. Think about this, right? I said what I mentioned just now about creating limited edition content. By the fact of having limited edition content, that will raise the price or the value of something. Like, people would actually save their Game Boys or their NES or their SNES or the SNES, and all those are Nintendo 64, your PlayStation 1, just because of the value and the memories that you were able to create with those IPs and those hardware and those products, those consoles. The fact is that the only way you could actually consume those products is by using that console. But now, because we have a lot of data releases, pretty much we have blurred that line, right? Now, yes, I do agree with you, because if you didn't have a Wii U like me, I didn't have a Wii U. I didn't play Skyward World. Um, Not that I was really into it, because for me, I was starstruck with Twilight Princess. For me, that one is the one that made a lot of sense. I know Skyward World had a lot of new mechanics, a lot of cool features, but meh, I wasn't really into it. So I never got to play it. Probably now I could get it on the Nintendo Switch, but it's kind of a bummer that I actually have to pay full AAA price tag like if it was a new game, and it isn't. Right? Well, it is, but it isn't, right? I would probably go for a lower price, but the thing is that every single game in Nintendo, and I've mentioned this before, probably on streams or in offline conversations, where I believe that Nintendo and their pricing needs to, I don't know, they need to refresh that, because games for 50, $60 US dollars is something that needs to be analyzed again. I don't know. I feel like if I'm purchasing a physical game, that makes sense, because you have to go through the entire effort of actually, you know, creating the cartridge, or if you have a CD, whatever, a DVD, whatever you want to call it, Blu-ray disc, and then putting it into a case and shipping it, all that stuff, that requires an additional effort. So if I pay for that and I'm paying a full $50 to $60 or US dollars, I get it, right? But the fact that I actually have to pay the same price for retail physical content, the same for a digital one, there's where I don't get it. So if I'm going to be buying these games digitally, then why am I paying 40, 50, $60 if it's just the ROM, right? It's just the software. So what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Would you rather pay full price for a digital content, which you don't get all the benefits from actually having the physical game? So people need to stop buying overpriced games so they acknowledge the prices are too expensive. Um, Probably, but the fact is that how do you fight the culture of actually playing your games? Because you can either do this, you could wait for the game to be shipped, or you could just pay now and download it, and you got it right away. Like I decided to make my Nintendo Switch a fully digital console. I actually had to step myself away. I mean, I had to step out and decide and plan how I was going to do this because I would rather purchase the physical copies, but digital copies make sense because you get them right away. Um, but it hurts the fact that I have to pay the same price as a physical game. There's where I don't get it, and that is why I have my Nintendo Switch. We have like two Switches, and that's why we have the game showing up on the other one as well. Because I believe that is the only benefit or value of actually buying or purchasing a digital game. If I have it physical, I would actually have to take the cartridge, give it to another person so they can play it, right? Hey Tristan, what's up, man? All good. So yeah, I believe that having a physical copy is cool. You have the physical copy, it has the resale value, you can sell it or you can share it with anybody else. But the fact that I'm paying for the digital one, the same as I'm doing for the physical one, and it kind of bums me out. But now that I'm thinking it over, if Nintendo would advertise more that you could share at least one copy of your digital game, then I would take it as okay to pay the full price or okay to pay for the same price as the retail content. That's how I see it. Now, if you think about this, let me know in the comments below. What do you think about additional features for your Nintendo Switch games? Will you pay less for just having a partial game where it wouldn't have uh, multiple digital copies, but it will be the same game as the digital one, just that you don't pay the full price? Let me know. Okay, so going down into the next topic, and this one is kind of unrelated to gaming, but it still has to do with gaming, is the Twitch hot tub meta killing Twitch. I don't know if you've ever seen, but I was looking into Kotaku, and within Kotaku, um, they were having a conversation where they interviewed a couple of streamers, and this has been flooding Twitch for the past 2 or 3 months. This has been happening a long time ago, but now it's getting more and more and more common on Twitch. Streamers following the hot tub meta. And what is the hot tub meta? It's pretty much girls with a inflated pool either at their living room, at their room, or if they have a physical pool, and they would just go there with their bathing suit and stream. So, Twitch trends, they come and go, but one thing remains constant: the endless debate around the women, if they should be allowed to wear any kind of stuff in their platform, right? The conversation went through, and people were discussing the fact that, they were showing a little bit too much cleavage, or they're using a bathing suit. And it's interesting because this has been a debate back and forth on Twitch for so many years now. Should women show any kind of cleavage? Should they be covered with, turtlenecks? Or why is it that people are complaining that women are taking away their viewers, and especially using, this hot top meta now, where it's kind of enticing. People will just go into Twitch, they'll see this girl, I'll say, open quote, air quotes, hot girl on a bikini on a pool, then guys are gonna click. You know, that's why I'm asking, do you think this meta is actually killing Twitch? They had a whole bunch of conversation about this. They interviewed a couple of streamers, and a lot of them were arguing that, you know, getting into this meta hurts Twitch because the content that you're showing there is in some way irresponsible. And the fact that people are going into Twitch just to go ahead and see them there using a bikini, it's outrageous, I would say. But if we turn the table to the other side, what happens with those streamers when they are streaming? Like, what is the entire purpose of actually streaming that way? In a hot tub with bikinis. What is the entire purpose of doing that? Right? I have seen a lot of streamers go through different metas, and one of them is the hot tub meta. Um, During the interview, they were arguing that by doing this kind of streams, a lot of viewers will ask girls to do certain things within the stream. And then the fact that they are getting into that point where they have that kind of conversation, obviously, they can either permaban them, they can ban them, block him, whatever, just remove their comment. But it starts getting into the sexual harassment realm where, you know, it becomes very uncomfortable for the streamer to be having to handle that while they're streaming. Do you think they cause that themselves because of what they're using, their current wearing, what their current attire is? Because at the end of the day, I've seen guys with tank tops and training, and they don't get forwarded that way. So why is this a problem? For me personally, I believe that on Twitch, the main problem here is that it becomes kind of confusing. If you're having this kind of content there, is Twitch going to be seen as the next OnlyFans? Is it going to be seen as a normal, I don't know, chat room instead of actually having content that is related to gaming and other creative realms like, creativity, music, crafting, art, and I don't know, drawing. But the fact that they are using uh, this platform and showcasing, um, which has sometimes becoming, I guess, sexual. Now, I mean, Exo Ariel says that she was one of the first streamers who used the inflatable hot tub, and she didn't see any problem in doing that, right? She just wanted to, be in the pool and stream. And probably a lot of people have done this before, but now it has become the meta to the point that a lot of just chatting streams are set up that same way. Hot tub or inflatable pool, bikini, and just sitting there. Some of them are actually talking and doing something else, but at the end of the day, it's just looking at this girl sitting there with her in her bikini in a pool. And the reason why I think that this in some way is hurting Twitch is because you're not using the categories in the proper way. Personally, I believe that if they're going to be doing this, there should be something else, something additional, something different that will actually identify them or categorize them into the proper group. If I'm going to just chatting, I'm expecting to at least be able to chat. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them are either AFKing or they're just there. They're not really just chatting. And then there's a lot of guys or viewers getting inappropriate in stream. I think the main problem here is the fact that it's not being categorized properly. And that's what concerns me. Because if I'm going to have kids, I mean, I don't have kids right now, but if I had kids and they're going to be either streaming or watching content on Twitch, and they're just going to the just chatting section and all they see, they're flooded with all these girls in bikinis. Why? You know what I mean? His intentions is to probably watch somebody playing a video game, not someone sitting in a pool with a bikini. So the fact that either they don't have their stream tag as mature or they don't have a proper category is what concerns me. Because the fact of just being just chatting is pretty much breaking Twitch. What do you think about that? Should they have that kind of content? Should Twitch do something about the streamers that stream that way, or they're okay? Because legally, according to Twitch on their stream, they're okay. They are not being sexual. They are not showcasing private parts. So, as far as we all know, they are in compliance with Twitch legal details. Yes. What do you think? Let me know. Are you tired of seeing only hot tub streams as soon as you open just chatting? Or do you believe that it's okay for them to do that, or should they have a different category for that? Well, when you're hot, referring to content, people copy you. But in just chatting, there's no one playing. So why the kid entertain entering that section? Well, I do get it, right? If you go into just chatting, it's because you want to find somebody that is sharing content that is chatting. And at least these girls should be chatting or talking. But a lot of them are just there and not really interacting with their audience. Not all the time. I mean, there definitely are a couple of them that could be interacting with their audience. But after doing a couple of research and checking out to see, you could see after doing the hot tub meta or following that, you could see that they have skyrocketed in their following and in their subscribers because you can get this information on Twitch trackers or Twitch Gnome, and you can see how it raised. But at the end of the day, their content wasn't really that good before, and the fact that they just got carried with this meta just doesn't make their content better. So at the end, it's actually hurting the streamer as well as the platform. I believe that just chatting should be for just chatting. If you're in a bikini, I get it, but you know, do what you said you're gonna be doing. Chat. You know what I mean? Not just don't be sitting there or AFKing, leaving your chair there with your keyboard and not really interacting with your viewers. Hey, what up, Joe? Yeah, of course. They should copy YouTube and only 18 plus check for certain things. I mean, there is a tag in on Twitch for mature content. I guess as long as they enable that feature, that'll be good. But what happens if the kid or the parent doesn't know and he doesn't set up um the settings for mature content not to be shown? So, and the mature content actually was for people might be cursing or using certain words, or it was intended for people that were of a certain age and above. So, yeah, probably that tag would help. But besides that, I think there should be another category. Don't know what category that should be. Just chatting is just a little too broad, I guess, or that's how I see it. Did we check about LG shutting down smartphone branch? I know. Yeah, I mean, we don't talk only about gaming. We talk about tech. We talk about streaming and also video games. But yes, I would say that it's impressive that LG is shutting down their smartphone franchise or their division for smartphones because they want to focus on uh, other realms. They want to go into smart cars, smart homes, um, assistants or interactive assistants instead of actually focusing on mobile, which it makes sense because they haven't been doing well in the mobile phone industry. The smartphone industry is brutal. It's tough. And right now, as you know, right, iPhone or Apple is still set it up at the top. And then you have either Samsung, which is also I wouldn't say struggling, but Samsung is there, and then you have a couple of Chinese versions, smartphones that there are. You can get by with them. Like for example, OnePlus. They didn't come in late, but they came in such a smart way that they got their cut in the market. But keeping yourself relatable in the market is not easy. That's tough. They should bring back cell phones. Oh, the lid cell phones. Yeah, definitely. Cell phones with tapitas. Well, LG, you won't get those from LG, by the way. LG doesn't do phones anymore. I think the last phone that LG released was the X Wing or the LG Wing. That was pretty neat. It was interesting. It reminded me of the Motorola Sidekick a little. It wasn't the same thing, but the flipping concept was cool. Unfortunately, they are not going to be doing phones for now. So, meh. Yeah, they always come up with new ideas. Yes, definitely, but no more ideas, I guess. Probably they do have, but it's just that LG is not cutting it right now on the smartphone. So going down into the topic, something else that I want to talk about is the big N back on E3. As you know, in the year 2020, E3 wasn't a thing because a lot of other companies did not go through, did not accept getting into the E3 because of COVID and a whole bunch of other stuff that happened. You know, it was pandemic, so I totally get it. But the entire fact that E3 decided to do their thing in 2021 is baffling because you know the amount of people that E3 pulls. You know the amount of people that are into these events. This is like the Disneyland for video games, literally. As you know, right, the E3 is the electronic entertainment event where you have every single company that is related to content creation, like video games, CGI, digital movies within the video game realm, the gaming industry get together and they just celebrate being a gamer, celebrate these content, these IPs. Well, in 2020, that did not happen. It definitely did not happen. And the thing is that there are some rumors that Nintendo now is thinking on actually getting into the E3. So, what do you think about Nintendo being in the E3 for 2021? Because they're not going to have a physical event anymore, at least not 2021. With the things that are currently happening, I doubt it. But there's also rumors that they're going to be doing this on June 2021 and they're going to make it a digital event. Something like a hybrid from what uh, Blizzard has with their BlizzCon. You know, some people have actually participated in BlizzCon and they have just enjoyed the content digitally instead of actually going to the place. So probably E3 is going to become the next digital big thing or digital event. Now Nintendo wants to be part of that. And I'm just wondering like what kind of cool awesome stuff Nintendo could add into the game because back since what 2017 Nintendo haven't been in an E3 anymore. I mean, they started doing their Nintendo Direct, and their Nintendo Direct is where they actually showcase all their new content, the new stuff that they're actually releasing, which is cool. The thing is that I don't know, it kind of lost the novelty. Like when it started, it was okay, but after a while, I'm like, oh, it's another Nintendo Direct. Oh, it's another Nintendo Direct. So I even don't even follow them anymore. I just get to know the info when it's already released, which is a bummer because the E3 would actually hype up people to the point where you really wanted to, be part of that event, be part of that new culture, that new movement, that new IP that was going to be released. But now Nintendo just get off of it. Hopefully, 2021, Nintendo's going to be participant, and I'm just waiting. I don't know what else is going to be showing up on Nintendo. Like, for example, what there is a Bayonetta 3. People has been looking for that for a long time. Metroid. Wow. I mean, what Metroid has been in the making like what 3 4 years maybe. That's a lot. Or even I want to know a little bit more about Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? And if they're actually going to be into the E3, I believe that Nintendo should come with their big hitters. Big releases, big games that are going to be published recently, at least sometime soon in 2021. Maybe not Splatoon 3 because we already know that it's going to be in 2022 anyways. So it doesn't make any sense to actually showcase that on the E3. Why would you show me that again? Letting me know that I still have to wait an entire year for the release. Anyways, also awesome stuff that are going to be coming into possible Nintendo E3 is Breath of the Wild 2. That should be big. Usually, Legend of Zelda games are shown on E3. So, and I'm waiting for that Super Mario Golf. That new Super Ace or something like that. That game looks just beautiful. I'm really ready to cap that one. And the fact that they could probably show a Switch Pro. Well, I like to call it a Super Nintendo Switch, but I don't work for Nintendo, so I don't make up the names. But I'd rather have a Super Nintendo Switch, definitely. Well, the fact that Nintendo is actually fiddling into getting on E3 is interesting. I really like the idea. I think this will give back strength to the industry and the culture because it has been dying out. People are now that people can enjoy their content at home. You don't see the hype happening anymore. It doesn't happen that often. As a matter of fact, because we're having a whole bunch of demos being released constantly, it's nothing is thrilling anymore. I guess not even movies anymore because Disney Plus is now releasing their movies in their streaming platform. You know, I think having an E3 again in 2021 will bring gamers together, at least this time, for something where we can all celebrate the culture. As a matter of fact, there's still some couple of publishers that haven't signed or confirmed that they're going to be on E3, but there's big, strong rumors for Nintendo, and I really hope that happens because I think Nintendo is a heavy lifter. Nintendo actually can bring people together. They have been breaking the ground with every single release they have done. I mean, Nintendo Wii U, well, that one is kind of debatable, but the fact that Nintendo has put together families, will older folks, parents, and kids are be able to play together. Yes, you definitely want to have a Nintendo on the E3. That is a given, and the fact that they are going to be probably showcasing a lot of new content will be awesome. Now, I'm just thinking that if they do that, though, since it's going to be a digital event, there is no way to actually test the Super Nintendo Switch. I mean, I'm speaking it up into existence. Um, People won't be able to test the Super Nintendo Switch or play the games there. I guess they should start doing something better with how they're going to be releasing their demos. The only thing though that if this happens during E3, like, hey, look, E3 is going to be for these couple of days, and during those days you can have these demos, you can try them out because we are showcasing them on the E3. The issue there is that the eShop, the eShop is just really bad, really, really bad. I just see during E3 the eShop being crashed down. People won't be able to access it. People won't be able to download the games. I just don't get it. It Nintendo, you had a big opportunity here, and the eShop just doesn't work well. I mean, when nobody's actually downloading anything, then cool. Anyways, what do you think about the Big N being on E3 2021? Should they be there? What are you expecting to be shown or released during E3? Um, will we have something new about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2? Or will we know about a new Super Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about those games? Okay, and then going down the line, the last topic that I want to touch about today, which has to do with Nintendo, is just killing me. People are talking about this. Not that much, but they are talking about it. The fact that the I know I like to call it the Super Nintendo Switch, but people are calling it the Nintendo Switch Pro. That name doesn't make much sense. Anyways, so I don't know if you've been into the PC gaming industry, but GPUs or graphic cards have been getting stronger, better, much more elaborated. And NVIDIA have added something very interesting, which is known as DLSS, which is literally having a lot of a brain that will analyze and view how it would manage the data, and then depending on that data that will be gathering, it would shape how it should pretty much render content. So imagine having a GPU with DLSS as the core of the Super Nintendo Pro, I mean Super Nintendo Switch. Oh yeah, I already got the names all messed up together. So you imagine that we had DLSS in a Nintendo Switch. That would be amazing. Finally, we could actually get games that will be running on 1080p. And there's some rumors that most likely the Nintendo Switch Pro will actually show content in 4K Even though when you play on the handheld, it's still going to be 720p. Switch Wii. Oh, I just hope they don't call it the Switch Wii or the Switch 2. I like the name Super Nintendo Switch. It makes sense because, back in the day you had the NES, right? NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. And then you had the SNES, SNES, which is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So it makes total sense to have a Nintendo Switch and then have a Super Nintendo Switch. And you release that game, you release that console with the grayscale colors and the buttons in purple. Psst, come on. Tell me about that. So, what do you think about actually having a better built-in GPU in the new Nintendo Switch, which is handling a new NVIDIA's RTX graphics, which will literally have AI handling and working smarter for graphics? That would be amazing. The fact that you would have bigger games, AAA games that will run much better, faster, and smoother, and we will finally have 60p. Which, that's a big bummer right now. People are actually playing on a Nintendo Switch, and I just want to tell you that the Nintendo Switch sales has gone up during pandemic, like impressively. Um, People have just been buying the Nintendo Switch. I mean, Nintendo actually threw it out the park with this one. They actually did it. But I don't know if it's the right time to have a Super Nintendo Switch. Is it? Would you release that? Is it going to only be a remake or an upgrade, or you want to bring in something new into the game? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about the Super Nintendo Switch, and if that will be one of the hardwares or consoles that you will be looking into? Personally, for me, with the Nintendo Switch and the PC, I'm more than okay. I don't think I need a PS5, or that's how I feel right now. I don't need a PS5 or an Xbox. I would like them though. I mean, if any one of you would like to send me over one of those consoles, hey, be my guest. But I think with the Nintendo Switch and the PC is more than enough because I have my handheld, which actually I can connect it to my TV as well. I can enjoy those games, and then on PC I can play almost any game that is available in either an Xbox or PlayStation because a lot of these games have already been released on Steam. They're on Steam, and then we have EA games, we have Origin, um, we have Ubisoft. All of them are actually developing or released already their platform where you can just subscribe to them and play these games. So, what do you think? Do we really need more consoles? Do we need upgraded versions of the consoles, or we just need better gameplays? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about that? Right, guys. So this was the last topic for the day. I'm going to be switching over into twitch.tv/Eddy04tv. And over there, we'll be playing a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise. That is the new hot thing on the Nintendo Switch. They have done awesome stuff there. Actually, as a matter of fact, they recently gifted all players a whole bunch of mega potions because they broke like some kind of record. In a couple of days, they were released on the game was released on March 26th, and they've already sold more than 5 million copies. I think it was what I read. So they gave us a whole bunch of buffs and potions and stuff just because a lot of people purchased the game. So again, I'll be playing Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch at Twitch. That is twitch.tv/Eddy04tv. Check me over there. See you on the next one.